Computer. Yeah, so I'm going to record on my computer now, so we don't forget anything, and we can always edit this part out.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if I should call Hope just to make sure. She said yes. So she'll enter the Zoom room at 1:45.
Good. All right. Excellent. You look very pretty today.
You too,
Yeah.
my co-host, my Hawaiian co-host.
Got my hair cut yesterday.
Oh, it looks nice. How does it feel?
Feels good. Yeah. She did say that the cut that I got when I was in Hawaii was a little messy. It was like, it was, she said, very interesting. It was very interesting. It'll take me a couple times in order to get it,
To get it back.
get it back.
Oh,
to
well.
me. She likes it, you know,
Mhm.
or less
Yeah.
chunky and more flowy, whatever. And I said, okay.
Right,
Only $25. I'm fine.
right. I mean, that's what you get, right?
Yeah.
I found a quote today too by William Blake. If the doors of perceptions were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite.
Mm.
Do you like that for
Yeah.
our show?
Oh, yeah. Perception. Read again.
If the doors of perceptions were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite. I'm going to close this other door because someone's pounding over there.
Okay. Oh, and then I was thinking.
So I just closed the doors. I have enough light here, don't I?
Oh, yeah. You have light.
There's enough light.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Now I was
Yeah,
thinking,
I'm listening as I'm.
yeah. So I was thinking when I do the meditations, if before you announce her, if people are coming in the room, you can let them in like you did before.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I have to look up Stephen's password. Boy, sometimes they want your passwords and everything.
Password for what?
Just to get into his mail.
Stephen going to be on the call?
Well, I was going to put him in on his computer and just mute it. So that way it doesn't, make a lot of noise.
Mm-hmm.
But that way he can, watch it and everything.
Okay. Okie dokie.
All right, let's see. We're getting noise. So I think I have to change this to go back out.
Well, it's going to feed back unless I guess you mute it altogether. Yeah.
It is muted.
I know, but sometimes you have two computers in the room and it's going to just do that. I know it didn't do it before, but I've known it to do that a lot. So.
Yeah. Let me try one more thing.
Okay.
I'm going to join it without, say, no computer audio.
Yeah. Okay.
So I chose phone call for him.
Ah,
Now, how do I? Okay, at least he's in.
okay.
I want to change this name though to rename and call it Stephen.
Okay, Hope's on. Gonna bring her in.
Okay.
Hooray!
Hey, how are you?
Hey. Woo.
Hey, how are you doing?
All right, you look beautiful.
Oh, thank
Beautiful,
you.
Ho.
Thank you.
How
Yay.
exciting.
Nice and sunny there, I see.
It's totally cloudy, but it's bright.
Oh, it's a bright, okay.
It's a bright, cloudy day.
Well, you're sunny, that's why I thought it was sunny. You're glowing.
Great.
There you go. I'm looking forward to you just to talk with my daughter, Jody. She said she'd love talking with you and she'll be on the show.
Oh,
So,
cool.
better
Gosh,
energy.
I almost forgot that I've been talking with so many people.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, when you mentioned that, I was like, did I talk to her? And I was like, oh yeah, I did.
Yeah, she's sharing her information with you. Yeah, I know you're quite busy, I'm sure.
You know what? It just really ramped up just recently. to
Okay.
where, you know, someone said, Hope, I really need to talk to you. And I'm like, you know what? I don't have an opening until Monday. Thursday. I actually don't have an opening
Congratulations.
until Monday.
Wow, good for you. That's great.
Wow. So many people are just like all of a sudden popping and going, oh my goodness, okay, what do I need to do?
Well, as long as you can enjoy the process, that's key, right?
Yeah, and you know, that's one thing, you know, why I don't go, okay, I have to fit these people in. It's like I'm looking at my calendar, I'm going, Monday.
That's it. That's how it goes.
I
That's how
also,
you
I also
roll
have
now.
kids, you know. So
And husband, and kids, and life, and right.
yeah. And
Yeah.
wisdom dialogues tonight at 5.
That's
Wow,
right.
busy schedule.
This is the schedule, exactly. Well, we have one person in the waiting room that can't wait to come on, but I'm gonna give her a little bit of time there. So
Yeah.
you're cool about the what we're gonna be doing, the format and everything. Do you have any questions?
No, you know, I don't remember what you guys said. If it's okay, I just go with the flow.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, it's all, I mean, everything that I share just comes natural anyway. So
Yes, yes. So after my meditation, that's when Sharon will introduce you. I think that's the only marker that you probably want to know.
okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah. After your introduction, I'm going to read your bio and then
Okay.
that's when we'll bring you on after
Well,
that.
it'll be fun to hear my bio. I don't remember what that is either.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll remind everybody. People may have heard it already before too. So it's all good. It's all
Right.
good.
And it's all in the illusion anyway, the bio. So
Right.
it's all good.
Every time I write it, it's completely different. I just make up something different about myself.
Ah, well,
Yeah.
that's what we like. Keep it a mystery. So
Yeah.
you never know what you're going to say.
Yes, that way it won't form anywhere.
Mhm.
Anywhere in this planet. Oh, so good. Excellent. Everything is good with the look at this. Magic.
Oh my. Oh yeah. Well, is that your water? It's highly charged now.
It is. I love it. I love it. I
Oh,
as I
you
drink.
guys. Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
There was one quote in here and I'm going to find, if you want to stop relating with your children through, I gotta push this back so I could read it better. If you want to stop relating with your children through fear and have loving communications with them instead, you'll have to put away old strategies that darken your heart including the idea that you are obligated to teach your children right from wrong.
What fun. That's such a fun one.
Is that a fun one? So, because we want to teach our children, I think that's just a natural instinct that, you know, you want to be able to teach your children, you know, and from the very beginning, early on, you know,
Right.
that's hot. Don't touch that. You know, don't talk to strangers. Maybe we're instituting a lot of fears already as young children. And then we grow up with these fears and saying, well, you know, how can we change that? So that could be a question. What do you think of that?
Great.
Bring it on, right?
Yeah. Whatever you guys like is good with me.
Okay.
We do.
I just thought that it was, I just opened the book. I said, show me what I need to read today for the show. And that was what showed up.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good. That's perfect then.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of questions in the beginning about your book, and then we work our way into the so-called what's happening in the world thing.
What fun. Okay.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's what's sort of flowing with us as we were talking about how we were gonna, you know, have introduced you, because I know you're passionate about all of this. So, but we wanted to sort of group them together a little bit.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm going to let Barbara Schlossman in the room, if that's okay. And then as people start coming on, and we'll get her in. She's a great lady. Is she joining?
Sure she is if she's hanging out with you.
Yeah, here you go. Thank you.
Yeah, she must be.
She's a sweetie. Is she around? Because she's been waiting for a half hour. So,
Oh,
yeah. She really is eager.
priority.
Let's see. Somebody helping her with her technology. Okay.
If I put Steven's video on, that should be okay, right? There won't
Unless
be
it
any-
unless it feeds back.
Yeah, you know what? I'll just leave it off.
Okay.
But this way he can still watch it on his computer.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Is he going to come in the room and obviously watch it?
Well, we'll see.
Okay. Because I was wondering, how can it be on with how much? Never mind. It was like, maybe in the future we'll be able to like remotely come into the computer without actually being sitting in front of it. Barbara, are you there? Barbara? Barbara, are you there? Maybe so. All right. That's okay. So, yeah. Oh,
I
hi.
am.
Hey, Barb.
I'm here.
Welcome, welcome.
We're
Hi.
here.
Say hi to Sharon and Hope.
I'm wearing a polka dot shirt. The picture should be in.
Okay. Click the video button.
I got to know.
Oh, Steve.
Hey, Steve. Hi, Steven.
Say hi, Steven.
Hi, Stephen.
Aloha.
It's all beautiful women. How exciting.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
There
there
I am. I'm here. Hi, how are you?
Good, Barb.
Hi, Linda. Hi, Sharon and husband. How are
Barb.
you?
Welcome.
Aloha.
You look beautiful.
Aloha.
Hi.
All that aloha energy is just flowing.
Yes.
That's right.
Can you hear somebody sawing in the background?
No.
Okay, good. It's just an illusion anyway, but I still hear it with my other senses.
Well, I did hear something right then, but
You hear it now?
now I do.
Stephen, could you close that window over there? Is there any way does he have to do it?
Is it bothering you?
Is it really loud? Yeah. They're doing work outside. When in Hawaii are they not doing work outside?
Right, you're right, you're right.
It's always
Usually when
something.
it's raining.
And when it rains too, they're still working.
Yes, yes.
It's
I
just
love
raining
your
here.
cactus.
Yeah.
Oh, your cactus in the background is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
Your cactuses.
Oh, thank you.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, very nice. We're just planting our cactus garden too.
That's nice.
Nice.
That's great.
We're excited about that.
Mhm. Yeah, you got I
What-
saw all of them. It's beautiful.
Let's see if I can adjust my view. That's cool.
Yes. Good job. So we've got 6 minutes. Okay.
Yep, still have time.
Plenty of time. Mhm.
Yeah.
What's going on, Barb? You doing okay?
Doing fine. I see your face and yeah, it's great. Wonderful to see
Nice
you.
to see you
Great.
shining back.
To see everybody, right.
We're all shining each other, right? Reflecting each
Right.
other. Right.
The light shining within, yes.
Yes. Perfect.
As the light shines within, it's without. It's
Mhm.
out.
Right.
It can't be within, without.
So, Hope, do you have your book handy to show people, or do we have your book?
Oh, I could grab it. Hold on a sec.
Mhm.
Okay, and I've got a copy here too.
Good.
So because at some point, I want to interject the comment about it. So should I bring that up during our questions, the beginning of the questions? Because before we get into, let's see, question number, let's see. Oh, number 12. That's when we start with other things. Do you see it? Question number 12.
Let me see. Yeah.
I think that's when we start talking about, or number 11, maybe.
It's 11. Yeah.
When you look at, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking I'd like to maybe, if we have time to talk about that too, or that could be at the very end.
Talk about what too? I'm sorry, I'm not.
The quote from her book. Oh, and here's the quote from your book. That way we're incorporating a little bit more about the book.
Well, we have a lot of questions about the book in the beginning, and we do quote the pages in the beginning, right?
Okay. Yeah. So we'll save that for last if it shows up.
Yeah, I mean, right. Mm-hmm. And we do have the page numbers we're quoting from, Hope. So if you wanted to go to the page numbers when we say page number so-and-so, just because you may forget what you wrote.
Oh, to verify you're not making it up.
See it on your computer. I put it up there.
And at some point, everybody needs to buy the book so they can all have a book club together, and we can all look at the book and talk about it.
Even if you have a question, you have to come over here and ask.
We're talking to Stephen? Okay.
Yeah. So if Stephen has a question, he'll have to come to my computer and ask a question or a comment.
Okay. That works.
Is Hope in Hawaii? Is she in Hawaii too, or Hope? Is she in Hawaii?
Yes, Hope is in Hawaii.
I'm on the Big Island. HPP.
Great, great.
Where are you located?
Chicago.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, it is a great place.
Sweet. I have never been there except to change planes.
Come and visit us. Would be great. New experience.
Yeah.
Spread the word.
I put these on the floor.
Absolutely.
You have to ask them.
People usually come on right at the beginning, like right on the button at 7 o'clock.
After sometimes.
That's how it is for my Zooms too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Start filling in just as soon as it hits the top of the hour.
Do you also do your Thursday evening, sometimes lectures or talks?
They don't get posted live or anything. I record them and then they go to all the podcast channels. I record the audio and then sometimes someone's there with a video and sometimes those videos get posted to my YouTube.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
So you have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I've had a YouTube channel for a while. I used to be real active on it and then I was just called to stop for a little bit and I haven't gone back to that YouTube channel.
Mhm.
I got real busy with a bunch of other things.
Well, that's what happens.
Yeah, so that's fun.
Mhm. Just go with the flow.
Yeah.
All right, Alexandra is coming on now, so I'll let her in. There we go.
Hi, Alexandra. Welcome.
Hello,
Hello.
hello,
Hi.
hello. Anastasia's coming on.
Come on, Judy.
Okay.
Can you sit?
Marilyn's coming in. Mhm. Good. Hi, Marilyn.
Aloha, Marilyn.
She's on mute.
Welcome.
Rihanna's coming on.
Oh,
Check,
good.
check the meter now, just leave them alone.
You're fine. So with yours, Stephen.
Okay, can you
Oh,
hear me?
Sage is coming in.
Bigger, you can.
It's the party.
Aloha.
Aloha.
A lot nicer there than here.
Well,
It's raining right now. That's nice.
yeah. So, yeah, everyone say hello to Hope and Sharon and Lynda. We're all here together as our divine oneness, the oneness that we are.
We are one.
We are one.
That's why it's called All One.
Isn't that a coincidence? No. Oh,
It is.
Joy. Joy's coming in. Oh, fun. Joy is on. Sage, thank goodness. Thank you. Thank you. Yana.
Aloha, Sage. Hey, welcome.
And I know that some of you are muted, but that's, if you want to unmute yourself and say hello before we start, that would be beautiful.
Good to see everyone.
Good to see you.
Oh.
Hey,
Hey,
Joy.
Joy. Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha. Aloha.
How are you? Love your smile. Hi.
I love you, Sage. I love you, Joy. I'm your #1 fan.
Stand in line, Joy.
Oh, we love that.
Take a number. No, I'm kidding. That's funny.
#1.
Just so everybody knows, can everybody see this picture I'm showing you right here?
Oh, yeah.
There's a picture that Alexandra painted this for our wall here in Hawaii.
Isn't that
Oh
amazing?
my gosh, she's so talented.
So talented.
Beautiful.
Too bad she's so young.
Thank you so much.
You are
Yeah.
beyond words.
Hi, Alexandra.
Also, I want to show
Hi.
another picture right here behind me that my co-host Lynda Hope and her daughter Cheryl painted on the wall with the whale and the dolphins.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, we have talent.
We do have talent.
That was fun to paint with my daughter. It was a blast.
I'm so appreciative of that. We love it. Thank you.
Oh, more people. Oh, Mark's coming on. Mark Menerick. Yeah. He was in Hawaii last year with all of us.
Yes. Aloha, Mark.
Coming on.
Is he co-
Yep, he's joining.
Here he is. Aloha, Mark.
Angela Young is coming in.
Angela.
Angela. Did I say Angela? That's funny. All right. Maybe she pronounces it that way. Okay. So aloha to everybody. And we're going to begin in 1 minute. We're just waiting for some more people, but we're so excited that you're all here. We have the best guest ready to share her wonderful wisdom with us. And my co-host Sharon from Hawaii. I wish I were there, but I'm here. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So thrilled. All right. So would you like to go live to Facebook as I explain? That we're going, okay.
Phone's in airplane mode, so I can't help you with that at the moment.
Airplane
Wait,
mode.
Oh,
We're really in an airplane right now. This is just a dream. We're all living in this. Okay. Good.
okay, so that's takes care of that. And we're ready to go to Facebook Live. So I'll be setting that up right
As we
now.
go Facebook Live, we'll show our video. We'll share our video with everyone. And as you know, this is an opportunity for us to also ask questions. So for all of you that are on the call, we will be opening the opportunity up to you at some point. And if you have any questions, please raise your hand. There is a place where you can leave a chat or you can raise your hand. This will be an hour and a half presentation. So from 2 to 3:30 or 7 to 8:30, wherever you are in the world, it's an hour and a half. And we're looking forward to a very conscious conversation. So again, we'll go live. Okay, we're going live now. Facebook. I don't see that's live yet,
Okay,
but when we do, we'll show our video. Okay, let's get more people into the room. Beautiful. All right, we're going live. I'm going to share the screen and we're going to take us through a nice, beautiful video here. All right, we're going live. I'm going to share the screen and we're going to take us through a nice, beautiful video. So Sharon, you want to mute that on your end? Facebook. Sharon, you want
Okay, ladies, with that dynamite and awesome introduction, this better be one spanking show.
Well, thank you for that, Mark. We really appreciate your wonderful feedback. Thank you. And hello, Sharon from Aloha from Hawaii to Chicago. We are.
okay, so we're gonna get started. Thank you again.
Thank you.
And
Okay,
California.
And California and all over the world here. Hawaii. Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes, we're going to start now. So we're going to mute you a little bit so we can have introductions and we're ready to rock and roll. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Okay, so you're echoing this is Facebook echoing back at us. We have introductions and we're ready to rock and roll.
Great. Well, welcome to everyone who is joining us on Zoom and on Facebook.
Okay, Sharon, you have to stop Facebook or figure out how to not have it echo back because it's duplicating our sounds.
I think you can mute it on Facebook.
Yeah.
I've done that before.
Okay.
You can go to Facebook and mute it.
Yeah, you need to mute Facebook. Yeah. Just go into it and yeah.
'cause it's-
Otherwise, we're in an altered reality here. Well, we already are. That's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Go to Facebook and mute it.
Yeah, you need to.
Ooh, this is interesting. Are we good? Ah, I think we're okay now.
Okay, how's that?
Perfect.
Better?
Yay.
All right.
Go ahead, Sharon, give the intro.
So welcome to everyone who is joining us on Zoom and on Facebook for AllOne Conscious Conversations. I'm Sharon Berkowitz, along with my good friend, Lynda Hope. We are doing the show to bring a higher conscious awareness view to those seeking spiritual fulfillment and self-realization. My teacher Sage and our Divine One group have inspired the creation of my first book, Light Wisdom. And in the present now, aloha, Lynda Hope.
Thank you. Thank you from this beautiful place of isness, of now. And we're so thrilled that all of you are with us, joining us here, joining us live, joining us on Facebook. Wherever you're joining, we're all one. So that's the beauty of that. Sharon and I decided to do this together because we share, along with so many in our AllOne Divine One community, the knowing that we are consciousness and we are in the source of the now, where we can view this world, or this, as we say, dream state, in the place of love, compassion, peace, and joy that is just permeating from this place of isness. And we are so excited to share this discovery, or this remembering, with you, and bring very high conscious guests with to also discuss this beautiful place of life, of living. And we're here to, discuss what reveals to you, what lights you up, what informs you to the highest good, in the highest way. So thank you, Sharon, for this opportunity of being with you again.
Yes, I certainly enjoy our time and sharing it with everyone else here on the call today. So thank you.
Yeah, great. And I'm going to lead us into a meditation, really just a remembrance of the place where we all resonate from. So if you'd like to close your eyes, make sure your phones are muted. We can take in a beautiful cleansing breath together as a community. We let it out. Make another deep breath in and out. And if we focus in on our breath, which is sort of breathing us, we are in this moment, in this now, as we are witnessing and observing the place where we are in our physical form sitting. We can also experience and see the beauty that exists in the oneness, isness of this conscious being that we are, beyond the mind, beyond the body. As we just witness any thoughts or sensations or feelings that may arise, we can let them pass, as they all do, as they come and they go, with a sense of detachment, just knowing that is just a sensation and a feeling or a thought that is always coming and going, but as presence, as being, this never comes and goes. This is always here, always was, will always be, the eternal in this present moment. And as we know, this spaciousness, this isness, is the place that we experience. In the experiencing of the form, we can just witness that, not attached to the person, to the personality, taking things personally. We can just sit as the divine sense of self, in that presence of love that we are, and life that we are. So this feels expansive, it feels beautiful, it feels beyond the words, really. beyond words of description in this isness. And so we remember again this consciousness that was always here before the form. We can feel that sense. It is the sense that we can see itself. So we are behind the lens of perception. Even though our person is in front of it, we can view that with compassion and love, the beautiful place of integration, a beautiful place of harmony. And then we can witness the beauty of the breath breathing us and the miracle that we are in this divine place. And so again, we thank whatever is here now and embrace that. And we will take another deep breath in and out as we now join in the oneness consciousness that we are, with the beauty and the peace and the love as a community of the one. Let us all return to the room. And we have introductions.
All right. Thank you for that wonderful meditation.
Thank you.
All right. So I'd like to introduce our special guest today, Hope Johnson, and I'll read her bio right now. Hope approaches life from the viewpoint that life is a dreamlike fantasy brought on by a thought of separation that we took seriously, and that the dream life is meaningless, except that we can use it to undo the insane thought that props it up as if it's reality. Hope has one goal for dreaming: to demonstrate to our shared mind that only love is real and that no separation ever happened. She has spoken for many years at retreats, online meetings, and to groups near her home on Hawaii Island. Many of Hope's online meetings have been recorded and are available for free. Hope is also happy to speak one-on-one or in small groups with those who are sincerely seeking the guidance that comes through her. Hope is an author, yogi, and founder of a fantastic essential oil online boutique called Miracle Botanicals. Yes, and I have used some of those. Thank you, Hope. She is a wife and a mother to 3 children, 2 of whom are adults. She also enjoys playing harp, and she does that very beautifully, I might add, dancing, laughing with the fairies, and being naked in the sun. So welcome, Hope, to AllOne Conscious Conversations.
Wow, thank you so much. It was really fun to hear that bio too.
Yes, so refreshing to hear it again in a different way.
Yeah.
So, Hope, we want to start really going into this very deeply. And, I was reading your wonderful book. It's called Unschooling for Parents. So I'm showing everybody the book here. And can you tell us about your awakening at the 2014 Vipassana retreat that you attended?
Okay, sure. Day 4 Vipassana. Those of you who are familiar with Vipassana, it's a 10-day, 10-hour-a-day meditation. So you spend 10 hours a day sitting in a meditative posture, completely silent, and the rest of the time you're just silent, doing your eating, walking, all of that kind of thing. So it was getting very difficult for me to sit there about day 4. I was feeling such pain in my back, and I was kind of hunched over like this, trying to stay in the, stay from laying down, which they come up and tell you, you got to sit up. Sorry, you can't lay down, so just start trying to sit there. And then there was something that was said about the Buddha and about how he sat there under that tree, and he decided he was going to sit there for as long as it took for him to awaken. And then it occurred to me, well, okay, I was able to go through childbirth without screaming and crying and trying to run away. Of course I could do this. And then my spine straightened. I was completely erect, and I started sitting erect. So I sat for that next meditation, was probably like 2 hours, took a break, came back. When I came back from break, as soon as I went to sit down, tears just started falling. And I was doing all I could to be quiet, because it's a room of probably like 100 and some odd people all meditating, and everyone's real close to one another too. So, the tears are just falling. And I noticed my mind keep on going to sadness, sad things that occurred, and just sat completely through that. It kept on going into the night while I was in my, I guess you might call it a bed. It's like a hard wooden slab that you lay on. You're laying on it. I don't know if you call it a bed. So I'm in my bed, and things get really heavy, and all of a sudden this voice, it's like my child voice going, "Mommy, how can you do that to me? How could you do that to me?" And a memory was present about something that related to my mom. And I had a tumultuous relationship with her at that time, 2014. Like, we couldn't get along. We couldn't have a loving conversation without it turning into something. And I just go, okay, I know what this is. I've been sitting in meditation. I'm going to just sit with it or lay with it, because I was laying down, and just kept on breathing through it and asking for a different interpretation. At that point in time, I had been taking A Course in Miracles, the lessons. I've been doing the lessons, and that came in, and so did my yoga practice. That also came in, the breathing, the asking for a different interpretation, because with that really sad thought, there's all kinds of thoughts adding onto it that are projecting it more and more and more, and increasing the uncomfortable feeling, unhappy feeling. So all of a sudden, it was like there was a break. There was just like a pop, and it was like an instant awareness, and it was like, it's done. I just knew right there it was done. Like, all of the suffering just needed to kind of play itself out in the illusion, but it wasn't having any more power over me. And I was so excited. I wanted to run down to Pohoiki. It was, we were just up the road, like 3 miles from Pohoiki. And I got the thought, I felt like so much energy. I wanted to run. It felt so good. But I knew they'd kick me out of Vipassana, and I wanted to stay there. So
that sounds wonderful that you actually had that. It was like a snap. It's like all of a sudden,
yes.
You just snapped, and something occurred for you, something beautiful within, that this awakening, like it was your self-realization.
Yes, and it was obvious to me that when I went back home, because I had really tough relationships with my family, with my kids, and with my husband, and just at home, I'd always feel like I wanted to run away, like I want to run away from this. I knew that those patterns were going to be playing out, and I just felt so good about that. It was really prepared for it. And sure enough, the patterns would present themselves, and sometimes it would get heavy, and I'd have to, sit with a really painful and uncomfortable feeling. But there is so much gratitude present, even for the painful or uncomfortable feeling, just for that arising because of what it's for. And it's like, with the realization in Vipassana, I recognize what everything is for. And that's what's changed everything for me, because then it didn't matter to me what happened, if someone didn't like me, if one of my kids is telling me that I'm being a crappy mom or something like that, and I get a trigger, I just didn't mind anymore. There was nothing that was going to make me agree that I'm guilty. And that's really all it comes down to, this guilty sense of self. And the illusion is meant to trigger that guilty sense of self and to get you to project that. The spirit has a totally different objective for the illusion, and that's to use it to undo that guilty thought. So
Right.
it just Yeah, so just aligning the spirit, no matter what kind of painful reactions I seem to be having.
That was-
Because when people are triggered, that indicates separation. It's like knowing that there's some grief, there's some guilt, and if that shows up for you, then you're in separation. But if you're noticing it and just having more of an awareness about it, then it's not going to like bother you. In other words,
Yes.
it won't bother the self anymore, your separate
Yes.
self.
Knowing that I caused it by my thinking.
right.
I caused the upset feeling. It's not something that someone said to me or something that someone seemed to be doing to me. I caused that feeling. And out of wanting to make myself feel like that, I'm projecting an entire world that seems to justify the feeling.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I have a question for you. What does enlightenment mean? What is your definition? I know we use that term quite a bit loosely or even just matter of factly, but enlightenment to you is?
Well, it's not serious, that's for sure. It's light.
Good.
You know, taking on that guilty self-concept is heavy. So it's like, you know, we're all worthy of relaxation. We're all worthy of release. Okay. So it's like that's enlightenment when you accept the release and you allow the lightness that's really, you know, our natural way of being. This guilty concept is totally unnatural. And that's why we feel like we need to resist it.
Wonderful. So here's another question. You know, from that time forward, when you had your awakening, what was really being revealed to you? What did you notice at that time in your life, or even
Well,
now?
The biggest thing for me is that I'm making it all up. You know, when I'm aware that I'm making it up in the midst of a trigger, then healing happens. That's what I notice for myself. And you know, sometimes I notice I'm not willing to admit that I'm making it all up. You know, I keep on finding myself pursuing a thought that says that it's about this or this needs to be fixed. And, you know, and just acknowledging in that moment, I'm not willing, you know, because it's kind of like I dug myself into a hole, and in acknowledging I'm not willing, I'm asking for help. I'm asking for a different interpretation. And you can say the help's being asked to Holy Spirit, God, source, fairies, angels, whatever you want. When there's an openness there, the help does come. And the first time that occurred to me was shortly after Vipassana. I was probably about 2 months out, and I was having this really intense time with one of my sons. And, you know, the way I set it up, this relationship was so intense for me. And I felt like I needed to either run or start like pummeling him. You know, it was like one or the other. You run away or start pummeling someone. So I asked, I, you know, just in my mind, I said, help me, Jesus. And immediately my energy field shifted. I felt a noticeable, this heaviness kind of lift right up out of the crown and got relief right there. And that was the first time where I was in the midst of a trigger with a person in front of me and asked for help and received it and softened, and the whole thing softens.
Right. Self-inquiry is so important, that when you just go within and be calm about it, that what happens is messages come through, and it allows you to have that freedom to say what possibility can happen in this situation. Because everything that are looking at, we're projecting out, is a story. And we're just creating all these beliefs about something that we believe in, and it's being put out there onto a situation, onto another person, onto a thing. And then we're making it about something. But I like what you said, Hope, is that what you did was you just asked for help. You go within and say, what can I do in this situation, Jesus, or whoever you want to call in and ask. And then just allow that presence that you're connected with to allow that to occur for you. And a lot of times people may see it as a vision, or they may see it as words going across like a screen on a typewriter, or they receive it just in your mind's eye, you know, that you just know what to do, like it's a knowing that you receive.
Yes, and for me, it's not even about doing anything. I'm not asking what I should do at all, because I know it's an error in thinking. And even whatever I seem to be doing, that is also my mind playing out anyways. And I don't really have any choice in it. There's only an illusion that I have a choice in what I would do. So what I'm asking for is to be corrected, you could say, because I know if I feel upset, I'm wrong. I went wrong. I went the wrong way in thought, and I need some help.
Well, you're the help though, aren't you?
Well, yes, and it is the perceived me is an extension of the source, and at the same time, when the perceived me is buried in an upset feeling and can't see out, that asking for help from the higher part of myself is very effective.
Yes.
Because it's like I've made myself separate when I'm in the throes of an upset feeling, and I can only see myself as separate in that moment. So I'm asking for that broader vision, a new interpretation of what I've made of it.
Mm, good.
Beautiful. Thank you.
We have a question about your book too. We're going to just go right to that because I know we're looking at the opportunity of showing your book and the wisdom that it represents. The Unschooling for Parents is your book, and you wrote it how long ago?
That was, when was it? I think it was 2018, 18 or 19.
Great. Well, I wish it was around when I was raising kids. That's all I can say.
That's for sure.
Yeah, because I look at it and so the wisdom is really wonderful. And as we were talking earlier about the idea of being parents, I think Sharon, you mentioned something from the book that says right and wrong. We as parents are sort of told by our parents, or we're patterning our parents, right, who have demonstrated to us that we're pretty much wrong. And what's the right way of doing things? They're going to show us even when we're married with children. They're going to continue that game, and everybody buys into it. I did. So yes, could you talk about the phrase dark inheritance? Do parents really know what's best for their children is the question.
Do parents oh yeah, in my book where I talk about do parents, well, for me, what I realize is I don't know anything. Like, I just really don't know anything. There's pressure, and that's one thing that I was suffering over, is the pressure to be a good parent. And at that time, I already had a daughter in her 20s and younger boys, maybe like 12 and 6 or something like that. And I felt like I didn't know what I was doing, and I was trying to fake it and make sure that I was raising my kids properly. My biggest fear was they were gonna grow up and turn out to either be junkies on the street, or they hate me for the way I raised them. That's how I felt about my mom too. So of course I'm going to have the sense that, I really don't want that to happen. So I know what they should be doing. And I practiced, I should know what my child should be doing for a long time with my daughter, who's 28, almost 29 now. And so I got the gist of how that feels and what kind of relationship with the child that creates too. It wasn't there was a wall between us constantly. And it's all based on good intentions. It was all based on good intentions, just like all parents have good intentions, and we all do. Even if we don't think so, we all do have good intentions. But it just wasn't working out because we don't really know what's right. We don't know what we want. And when I realized that, all I know is how I feel in this moment. And all I can know is that if I feel upset in this moment, I'm making something true that's hurting myself, which is basically why I say if I feel upset, I'm wrong. So I turned it around and allowed myself to be taught through my experience with my children. They're going to learn stuff from us anyways. That's, that's just how it is. We teach and learn from each other. But they're going to learn from the example so much more than they're going to learn from what I try to tell them is right and wrong. And I learned from experience that I really don't know, even if I think I know in the moment what's best for them, I really don't know. And you might see a part in here, I think I put it in the book, where, one of my sons was 4 and he really wanted to play on the roof. And I was like, and he didn't want anyone up there with him. He wanted to be up there by himself and he wanted us to leave him alone. Okay. Don't try this at home unless you have the faith for it. So I go, okay, wow, this is big. This is intense. I have major fear he's going to fall off that roof right now. I have major fear that he's, and the main thing was I was afraid of how I would be looked on as a mother that allowed her child on the roof and then he falls off the roof. That was like the biggest thing for me. So I left my child on the roof and I went inside and I sat with that feeling. That was the guidance that I had. That was the guidance that I received. He's great. He's well taken care of. Take care of this feeling right now. This feeling is up. This feeling is for you. And so sat with that, worked through that fearful feeling. And, the funny thing is, my son, after the fearful feeling was resolved, he lost interest in even playing on the roof. So that was over for him. So that's one example of how, I don't know. I can only listen to the inner voice right now. And that's all I can be aware of. The other stuff is actually chaos. It's chaos playing out on the screen.
Well, Mark has his hand up. Mark, what do you want to say? Unmute yourself, Mark.
Okay. Oh, well, I was waving to Angelina's youngster there. She looked.
Oh, well, then I'm sorry for that.
No.
So eager, you were waving.
But in chat, I wrote a message. I said, Hope, when you say the illusion, are you talking about the matrix of sorts? And who or what is the illusion master? Who's running the broken projector?
Okay, so the illusion is anything that can be perceived, and perception is made out of sense. So it's like a body sense. We have all the 5 senses and the feeling senses, and all those senses are projected outward to make an illusory world. So basically anything that we can hear, see, touch, smell, whatever we're making up, that is projected from the thought of separation. That's why the world appears in separation. That's why we even appear to be separate from the earth. Like we can walk around on it and jump off of it and stuff like that, or jump up and down on it. But there is no separation, and having these separate bodies, have these appearance of separate bodies too, just generalizing it all as one illusion that I'm only viewing. I'm not doing anything in it. I'm only viewing myself and the rest of the illusion on a screen of consciousness, and that's projected from the thought of separation, and it's subjective for each individual. So I'm getting a projection based upon all the thoughts that have gone before, while thinking that I'm separate.
Oh,
Sounds like a bank shot in there somewhere.
A bank shot?
I mean that we use all our senses, like you said, our 5 physical senses and other more ethereal senses, and we project that out into the world, and we pull that back in, and that's what our assessment of reality is.
Yes.
But it's just kind of that bank shot or that reflection.
Yes, that's right. And you know, using everything that we get the perception of as witnesses to what we wanted to be true, because we thought we were separate. And it's the only reason we would want a world of separation, a world where everything and everyone is dying.
So there, so there's like some quantum spice in there, and that as we observe it, we change it because we observed it, but we're also kind of sprinkling this what we wanted to manifest.
Yes, and as we keep on going along with the perceptions, with having perceptions, and if we're making the perceptions true, it keeps on getting darker. The world keeps on going on this trajectory where it's getting darker and darker, and our energy is getting heavier and heavier, and we're getting more upset, depressed, those kinds of things. Whereas when it's used for awakening, when the perception is just used for awakening, that also changes how the perception goes as well, because we're only going to get the lessons that we need to awaken.
Because everything shows up outside of us, perceived outside of us, to help us awaken. So
Yeah.
that's why everything is showing up, whether you get triggered, whether you have beliefs, where you have different thoughts, and it's the attachment that you have to those thoughts that also help you to project and actually show you, mirrors back to you what you're being veiled from, or what you need to take a look at in order to awaken, and using that as a tool, but knowing deep inside that you already are that, you already are awakened, that you already are the I am presence.
Yes, we set up these defensive mechanisms to keep us from perceiving the thought that we separated ourselves from creation. So in perceiving in the world, we're getting awareness of those defensive mechanisms, and we're able to see beyond them. So the perceptual world is what's giving us the opportunity to awaken from the idea that we did separate ourselves from reality. And reality will dawn as soon as all of those impediments are cleared. And you know, one thing I like to point out to peeps is, you know, you're not wrong or less spiritual or anything like that if you get a trigger. You know, for me, I'm so grateful when I get a trigger. I know it's an opportunity for healing. See, the ego will use this kind of thing as like the ego's looking out and going, oh, well, I must be pretty spiritually aligned now. Haven't been triggered like all week, or I haven't even been triggered all month or something like that. That's one of those ego traps, you know, because like you can go around with a sense like you're like this high spiritual level for a while, just to get that. But you know, it always comes back around and bites you in the ass. And you know, always when you think that you're up here, gonna get knocked down to here, because there's really no levels like that. You're already the truth. You are the truth. So whatever illusion occurs to me and whatever kind of upset feeling comes to me, I'm remembering to offer gratitude for it, because of where it's leading. And that's what makes me aware of and able to receive the gifts that come through the trigger.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. You know, it just reminded me of a quote from William Blake. He said, if the doors of perceptions were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite.
Mm-hmm. Infinite, changeless,
formless,
yeah,
non-duality,
yes,
all of that. Which brings me to another question for you. So you also say, when every child is allowed to be as they are, humanity will also be harmonious, abundant, and free. It's only a matter of time.
yes.
Can you speak to that? We love that quote.
Yes, definitely. Well, the way I look at it is like this, and you'll get this from my book, is that everyone that I perceive is a child of my mind. Like I've made them that. I'm not even seeing them clearly. Okay. So in taking my perception and trying to lay any kind of judgment on it, the child is not free. Then basically that's speaking to myself, because everyone I perceive is me. So it's basically denying myself freedom. And that's why we perceive this world of separation, that we have been denying ourselves freedom, many times in the form of denying others freedom. And, just condemning another person's actions is denying the self freedom. So it comes to gratitude for all of the performances and all of the actors that are making this awakening possible. And, as soon as there's no one left in the perception to project any guilt onto, any shame, any idea that they're acting autonomously from my own mind, then there's reality. There's no more suffering. All the suffering comes from making it as if people are doing things wrong and taking on that feeling.
Right, and blaming them. So you're not really taking responsibility, because as soon as you start to blame or to say that this is happening because of that or because of this, then you're not really taking it for yourself to say, oh, why did I create that? What is it that, or why did I create that? And see what feeling comes up for you. And what you're saying is to dissolve those feelings. And and also that when the dissolution of the egoic mind, then you can experience what it is, infinite, where you have the true nature of joy inside of you, and you're living it that way constantly.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the goal. I find myself taking things seriously from time to time. And, as the practice that continues of just being aware of these things, the more it occurs, the more I can see that it's meaningless, and the quicker the joy returns again. And I wanted to point one thing out, where you're saying, why did I create this? For me, anyways, I don't ask that kind of question. I don't ask the question, why did I create this? For one thing, I'm certain that I didn't create it.
Yes,
my creations are eternal and changeless, just like God's creations. I made it up. And I don't need to ask myself why, because I know why. I know it's to hide that thought of separation, because once that thought of separation is looked upon head on without all of the defenses that I set up, then there's no more separation. So I already know why. It's basically just admitting that I am making it up and not needing to ask why, because it's obvious. But admitting that I am making it up opens my mind to a different interpretation, and opens my mind to the healing, and lifts that stubbornness that we all have. There's this stubbornness, not wanting to see. So when I say I'm making this up, okay, that's the first step. I'm making this up, and then I'm sitting with the feeling, and then asking for help, because there's not a way out on our own accord as that projected person who's already believing it's in separation.
Yes. And the higher teaching too, that going to the higher mind, which is the highest of being of gratitude, that there's no separation, because that would mean that there's two, and in no separation, there's only just one.
Yes.
And Hope, and Lynda,
right.
You were going to say something?
Well, yes. I mean, we're talking about children in a way that we're saying that, if we look at the child as a parent, right, and we identify as the parent, and we now have the child, that's separation, right? So we're already messing it up.
Yeah, great.
Right. And So the question I had also about from your book is, this is quoted, you say that when you rescue your child in life situations, you would inadvertently reinforce the victim consciousness. But I do have a question for you, because you were saying something about the child on the roof. This is
Yes.
sort of a question like that. But what if your child is being sexually abused or hurt in some way, and you come to rescue that child?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing to take note of. Okay, the illusion and the mind, they're on different levels. Okay, so you don't have a choice in how your physical form is going to play out. You don't have a choice in that. For myself, I've never had that experience where one of my children was being molested or even like otherwise abused by a whatever. So for me, it's like, I know that I'm going to be moved to act in whatever way is appropriate for the situation. It's not up to me. So I don't have to try to make a decision on how I'm going to act. I don't need to know what I'm going to do until I'm viewing myself doing it. See? So it's not like I can't go get him off the roof. It's not that I can't. It's the work is in the mind. It's not in the physical perception. And that's a really good question, because that's where a lot of people get confused with it. And that's the ego is so focused on you being the decision maker on everything that you do. The ego is going to go, oh, well, what about this? Like, you're going to have to figure it out if this happens, but the thing is, for me, I never have to figure it out. I don't know what I'm going to do. So when I'm watching myself going back into the house, and my focus though is on my own mind, is on that fear that's coming up, watching what's arising, the actions. And I know it's difficult to trust in this way, but the actions really are taking care of themselves. There's no one to do it. So, there's certain things that I find myself doing in this day and age that I never dreamed I'd be doing. And there it is. And knowing, it really helps knowing that, because there's not even a question. There's not even a doubt. There's not room for a doubt. Am I doing this right or wrong? Should I be doing this, or should I be doing something else? And you get a lot of quiet space in your mind, because those thoughts don't need to be entertained. Look how much time is spent entertaining thoughts about how to do things the correct way, when all of that responsibility for your whole entire life can be given to spirit.
Mm-hmm. So when you are, to go back to the question a little bit too, with the child, when you come to their rescue, as a mother of two girls, I remember when I was unconscious, and I would sort of anticipate how I could help them, thinking that I was going to help them and they didn't want my help. But yes, it is that victim, the ego. Isn't the ego mind really all about the victim? And you think that you have the answer because you're the wise one, you're the mother, they're the child. Can you talk a little bit about that dynamic?
Yes, definitely. The sense that I know better than my kids, it comes up all the time. I mean, my kids, some of my kids do things very different than I do. For instance, my 12-year-old, he's really into wearing a mask and he wants to get vaccines and stuff like that. That's not my game at all, but when it comes to him and anyone else who wants to play however it is, and you can't even say wants to play. It's like the mind is just playing out. And it's giving me everything that I need. So in just allowing everyone to have their own journey, and if my input is required, it's going to be given, and I don't really have a choice about that. What I do have a choice about is that thought that says, I know better than another person. I don't know what's happening here. And at the same time, I'm viewing my body playing out in a certain way. And it doesn't matter, behind the scenes, I am aware and looking to the truth that I don't know what's happening. And I can't even make any sense out of this because it's nonsense.
So I do have a question too, though, Hope.
Yeah.
Can you share your experience with your daughter and her addiction, which can be very valuable to our listeners?
Oh, sure. Well, for one thing, there's no addiction except thinking. That's the only addiction that there is. There are manifestations of physical addictions. Those are like symbols, okay? And it doesn't matter if the addiction is showing up through my own self or through another individual self. It's still addiction to thinking that's projecting that whole scenario. So my daughter went on a 1-year escapade with, I think it was cocaine or meth or something like that. Something that you sniff up your nose and it's white. And she changed a lot, went through some major changes. Her whole personality was different. And at first I didn't realize what was going on with doing drugs and stuff like that. So I just kept on, going to gentleness with her, because there was this meanness that seemed to come up through her. And going to gentleness basically entails recognizing that whatever meanness I'm perceiving is coming from me. So eventually I find out she's into the cocaine / meth. Maybe it was a combo. And I go, oh, okay. That's playing into it now. That makes sense. All right. And so my daughter was telling me how I am such a bad and judgmental person. And this was only, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, after I wrote my book. After I wrote my book, and she wrote the conclusion in it too. So, stuff like that comes up, which is really fun. And she, you know what, I can't even be around you, Mom, because you are so judgmental. And I said, okay, well, that's all right. You don't have to be around me. It's not necessary for you to be around me. And she goes, Mom, everything is not okay. I want you to stick your finger up my nose right now and feel I have this hole in my nose. And it's from doing this. She was calling it cocaine. I don't know. It might've been a combo. And I go, okay. Well, at first I go, oh no, I'm not sticking my finger over your nose. She's like, Mom. And I was like, all right, finger up the nose. I felt it. There's a hole in there. And I go, oh, that's okay. And she just kind of looked at me like, I go, honey, you are good. You are 100% good. There's nothing wrong here. And I go, this whole thing comes from thinking that something is wrong. And so I saw her get some relief. She took off for a little while, came back again, and she came back to bring something up. She wanted to get into it with me. So she came over, said some things to me, and told me that me just acting like everything is okay, that's not okay. Everything is not always okay. So I go, well, that's okay. And then she laughed. And then it wasn't long before she just said, you know what, Mom, I'm done with this stuff. Can you help me? Take me over here. And I just found myself like, sure. And took her over there, and she had a lot of experience with people looking at her like she was a mess. And, I just wouldn't look at her like that. She would come around and tell me that she's talking bad stuff about me all over town. And she's telling the people what a terrible mother I am and all this other stuff after I wrote my book. And she goes, this is gonna ruin everything for you. This is really bad for wisdom dialogue. And I go, honey, none of this is gonna ruin everything. This is perfect. This is exactly perfect for me. I mean, you don't have to try to do anything different. You are doing awesome. And she also happened to be hanging out with a guy who it looked like he kind of got her into all that kind of stuff, right? So she goes, you think my boyfriend is really bad for you, don't you, Mom? And I go, no, I think he's the perfect boyfriend for you. I think you couldn't have it any more perfect than that. And it's sincere because I mean it, because I feel it, so it doesn't matter what the projection is. It's like, I'm not taking that on. I don't agree to it. I don't consent to that. I'm not taking that on with you. No, everything is perfect. Everything is cool. So she gets, totally changes, goes to being all sparkly, like really fast. It's like probably takes like a week or something before she's like back to that. And then she's like, and then she's telling me, I don't know how I'm going to deal with all these people who are looking at me like this. They're looking at me like I've done something. And, I just go, well, that's just for you. That's just for you. It's the same kind of thing as you coming to me and telling me I'm a horrible mom. It's just for me. It's for me to see through. And so that what they're giving you is for you to see through. I've had people come up to me while she was in that stage and go, oh my God, I saw your daughter. Like, you would just look at her. She looked a mess, because especially if you compared her to how she was like 6 months ago. And she goes, oh my God. And I would reach out to him and go, it's okay. She's just kidding. And sure enough, afterwards, her answer was, I was just kidding. I was just kidding about that. And that's not a thing. So she didn't need any kind of self-help program, 12 steps, anything like that. It was just like, hey, can a girl just have a drug year? It was like, yes, she can. And that's the thing. What's that?
I said, I'm glad it all worked out.
Well, yeah, and it always does. Yeah, and it always does, no matter which way it goes. So I had friends telling me, oh, Hope, I hope your daughter changes, and I hope she comes back to you. And I'm like, well, I don't hope for that, because I know everything's going perfectly, and I know everything's giving me exactly what I need. So I don't spend energy wishing for things to be different. Take in what it is, take in what's occurring, and the feelings that are being triggered. And I'm not wishing for things to be different. I was actually on Wisdom Dialogues online when the police came looking for her, because she had just hit and run someone in a rental car. And when the police arrived, I'm like, oh, the police are here. Oh, this is going on. And the people online are like, oh my goodness, are you going to talk about that? And it's like, well, we can if you want to. And sure, let's talk about it. But it's not like these things are any kind of something to get us going in our mind, like reeling around in the mind like that. And it actually opens the door for people to see that, oh, I don't like this. I don't like this, what I'm doing to myself by the way I'm thinking about myself. And that's really, when we find ourselves doing any kind of habit that we also don't like, that's all it is. It's just those thoughts, those erroneous thoughts about who you think you are being played out like that. Once that's healed, there's no need to reach for anything to make yourself feel like crap in the illusion, because you feel better in your mind.
Very, very different type of parenting than I think that most people are used to, Hope. And I'm so glad everybody got to hear your story about you and your daughter, because it's just amazing how everything played out and you just allowed it to play out that way. And no, not that there's any beginning or end of a story, but just that the flow of it, you just said, okay. And just knowing that it's perfectly perfect in the way that it's unfolding, and that you're giving acceptance and allowance for that to be, respecting the situation, and just having that admiration for it to say, okay, this is what's happening here. You want to talk about it, you don't want to talk about it, that's okay too. So
Mhm.
thank you for explaining.
Well, I would also add something that, as we are divine in the God consciousness, right? We all are of divine. We all are that consciousness expressing in the form. And if we know that, then we all are part of the source plan, right? That everything is evolving from source. And so everything has to be perfect. Everything is perfect because God is perfect, source is perfect, and we are of source. So, for it to not to be perfect would be contrary to the oneness of that, or the knowing that we are that. And so that when we see the mind play or the personal identity believing itself again, going, oh, I believing myself to be that kind of person with that kind of problem, then we are again separated. And we're saying, whoops, we're wrong. We're, like you said, we're just wrong. Okay. But it is that, and then you wake up and say, there's nothing to fix here because everything is playing out perfectly because it's all divine. But the thing is, when we separate ourselves out and we start to play in the mythy or game of life, then we're really, seeing how it's not going so well because we're cutting ourselves off from our truth, our natural sense of self that is really thus the divine. And now we're sort of ignoring that. We're saying, nah, I don't think so. Let's just experience more so we can get more clear about that.
Yeah.
Not got quite clear yet. Let's keep mucking it up until we get clear there. And maybe we'll be, 70, 80 years old by the time we get it, which thank goodness I'm not there yet. I got it sooner than that. In other words,
Way far away. Come on.
yeah, I'm far away from that. But as my friend in the illusion said, my decades are running out. And I go, nah, that's an illusion. Give that up.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes, thank you for that. And like you said, Sharon, yes, parenting, there's no real handbooks. And yet, as a parent, we're still in the illusion. So whatever.
Well, I will say that in the early years, I really wish I had this book. I wished I had a book like this. Like I was looking for someone who could help me through this parenting thing when I was, when I was younger, because there is nothing. I was looking, and I was really into like Muji and Maharaj and that kind of Advaita, non-duality, A Course in Miracles, stuff like that. None of it. Well, maybe there's a little bit in A Course in Miracles, but none of it was talking about parenting, and that was what was the most difficult thing in my life, was the parenting. And so I was super happy to write the book and offer it for anyone who's like me, who's like really open in that mystical way. The subtitle is A Mystic's Guide to Awakening with Children. Someone who's really open in that mystical way and also has children, because it is really different. It's a really different way of looking at things. And in fact, my son who's 19 often tells me, I don't know if I really agree with, I think a lot of the things you say are good, but I don't know if I really agree with all of them. And I'm like, well, that's okay. You don't need to agree with any of it at all, or even think that I'm doing it right. My son brought it up to me recently. I think you're neglectful because you don't care what I do. And I go, well, that's reasonable. I think a lot of people would agree with you on that too. That I am a neglectful parent because I don't care what you do. And here's the thing, I care about your happiness. That's what I care about. What you do is not relevant to me. I just care about your happiness, and whatever it is that you want to do, I'm here to support that.
That's so cool. I like that. Yes. Could you? Yes, Mark.
Some real quick is what I really liked in the story about your daughter, and you kind of got into it too with your son here, is and a really hard lesson that I've learned. I have 4 children, and very varying degrees of closeness in the relationships. We're illusions grade metrics on success of
Sure.
relationship with them. Okay, but that I found with all interpersonal relationships and dynamics, a huge fail is when we do motive judging. So I would make the assumption that I know what the other person's motive is and what their stance
Right.
and what their drivers are, and then in turn it kind of justifies that victim savior dynamic of some sort, where you have to swoop in, or you can share tears or some such, but not in a healthy way. So I think that was kind of cool with, I mean, your total acceptance of your daughter. And even though she was pounding maybe on you that, oh, mom, you're thinking like this, or you're doing this, or you're being this like that. And you're going, honey, these are all lessons and blessings. You know what I mean? This is going to work out sooner or later. And you actually forced her. It's like you forced her card in a passive, loving way to accept her so much that she learned her lesson really quick with, the drugging and the hippie boyfriend or whatever. So no, that was really cool. I don't know. I just resonated with it, and I thought it's awesome. It was really neat. So thanks for sharing that and being so open.
Yeah. And one awesome thing is she's still with that same boyfriend, and he's awesome. He came to talk to me too before he left the island, and we had a beautiful heart to heart about how there's only innocence, because he was feeling bad about the things that he thinks he did. And, we just had a heart to heart about how there's only innocence, and it's just believing that he is capable of doing anything at all that's making him feel guilty. And, at that point, he got that. And he's Christian too, so an understanding of God and that kind of thing. And got that, left the island. And my daughter was saying, I'm done with him. I'm so sick of that whole lifestyle. I don't want anything to do with it. And he just kept on calling her. And eventually she went to be with him. And that was last August. She went to the mainland to be with him. And they are both completely like different person. People, my husband and I like to joke around. They were just on the wrong medicine. It was just the wrong medicine. And really the medicine is only thinking that makes the manifestation of a medicine like cocaine/meth that'll appear to mess with your brain function.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So go ahead, Hope. You were going to ask a question.
Yeah, so I did want to open it to everybody now because it is 12 minutes after 8. So whoever, or my time actually, it's earlier, 5 hours earlier, your time. Anyone else want to ask a question besides Mark? Open, unmute yourself. Barb, you have a question?
Is it just allowing what is and letting source, the divine, take care of it? Is that what it is?
Yes, in a very you could say in a very palpable way, so it becomes not just words but living it. So it's like allowing these things that come up that really get your goat, get you to want to make that thing true, and allowing them to arise. And allowing, see, this is important too, is allowing yourself to be played out in whatever way yourself gets played out. So you're not trying to control yourself and trying to act like you're letting it be. Do you see what I mean? There's acting like letting it be, and then there's actually letting it be. The acting like it is trying to control your physical form to make an appearance like you're letting it be. And part of letting it be is also letting yourself be for any kind of actions, reactions, and stuff like that. So I share a lot with parents, letting them know, hey, if you're afraid and you feel like you have to control your kid, you're going to find yourself controlling your kid. Let that be. because it's the awareness of how you're taking things that equals the healing, not trying to manage your actions. So it's really, go ahead.
Are you saying it's no control, it's no manipulation, it's just allowing what is? Is that what you're
Yes.
saying?
Yes, and
Okay.
including your own unfolding, let's say.
I see. So,
Yeah.
so what you're saying really is whatever your child does, you support, and however it unfolds, it is, but you don't try to control or manipulate anything your child is doing, right?
I
that
don't
correct?
try to control or manipulate anything I'm doing either. So I could get the perception that I'm trying to, let's say a kid is running into the street. I could get a perception that I'm over there saving the kid, and that's still okay, because the letting it be is in the mind and not in the perception. There's two different levels. So like Lynda Hope brought up about, what if someone is molesting your child? Well, in all likelihood, I'm going to be sprung into some kind of action. At the same time, that action is completely separate from the mind that made it, because it's a projection, and the mind is a projected mind. Okay, the mind that thinks in separation. It's that projection, but these are separate levels. So in noticing that there's separate levels, this comes up big, that any way that I'm being made to play on the screen of consciousness is also allowed to be as it is. And as we watch that play out, that's where the healing happens, and there's no right or wrong in a way that I should be with them. I find myself being very allowing as to whatever it is that they are interested or want to do. I find myself like that most of the time on the screen of consciousness. If I don't find myself like that, then it's not a problem for me at all. And it's not a judgment of it being right or wrong. It only has to do with how I feel. If I feel a heaviness, if I feel any matter of upset, that's where I know I've taken a wrong turn in thought, and I need to have help. I need to come back to myself. And, just simply recognizing, oh my goodness, I must be wrong. I must have taken a wrong turn because I don't feel good. And immediately the help is given.
Got it.
Beautiful. Thank you. Mark, you have your hand up?
Yeah, Hope, what I heard there is, that it sounds like almost on a daily basis, you've almost developed a vigilance or a consciousness or maybe just a tactical habit of being in like a constant, graceful, prayerful state, and that you check in with that. And so regardless of whatever craziness is going on relative to family, neighbors, personal finance, political, world, global mayhem, it doesn't matter. You have a schema in terms of how you kind of cookie cut and check in or such. But I don't know if you want to expand on that, but I caught something pretty slick there, and I was wondering if you would.
Yes, I generalize everything. I generalize everything in the illusion. Okay, so it's all chaos, and it doesn't have any kind of meaning. Okay, and then there's how I feel, and when I wake up in the morning, I just allow a feeling sense of gratitude, of grace, of appreciation, and and loveliness. And that feeling, if I deviate from that feeling, which I do throughout the day, it's natural to deviate from the feeling, deviate, come back, deviate, come back. It's kind of like, you could say it's like a constant meditation. And if I get a big upset feeling, it's like, okay, it's like prayer. The big upset feeling, it's a reminder, okay, now prayer. And that's where it's like, let me see, and sitting with it and helping me, But even the little, even if I feel a little bit frustrated or irritated or something like that, that's immediately kind of like a red flag to go up in my mind. And that's to ask for help. It's that's the easiest way for me to say it. Ask for help. I don't always find myself specifically asking in that way. But it's just a tuning in to how I feel and recognizing I don't want to feel like that. So I must have made something up that made myself feel like that. So there's a lot of different ways and methods to see it and go about it. But basically, if I feel anything less than joyful, then there's something there for me. There's an opportunity that's there for me to be healed. And I can either resist the opportunity by feeding into the thoughts, which basically the thoughts are justifying the upset feeling that I have. So it's just more lies. I just be feeding more lies, or I could get a better interpretation that automatically manifests as a joyful feeling.
Beautiful. Thank you. Rihanna, you have your hand up.
Aloha. Thank you so much. What a amazing words
Hey,
spoken
I know
today.
you.
Yeah, sorry. So I had to speak up because you said I either act as if or I believe that there's no meaning to anything. And so am I correct? Is that what you meant or what you said?
Well, how are you taking it? I don't
Well,
know.
because he said, you said, yes, I talk in generalizations or general, like more high level categorical, that there's not this necessarily meaning to everything. And so I was just, can you either explain that a little bit more so I can understand what you mean by when you said that?
Okay, so maybe, I view everything in terms of general, like that. Because everything is coming with a feeling, right? So I view everything on the surface in terms of generalization. I may not talk like that. I may not talk like it's general. I may not speak like it's general. Again, there's the mind and there's the illusion. Myself in the illusion is being played out too.
I'm on a meditation
on a different level from the mind. So it's a matter of generalizing everything in the world so that it doesn't have to be something that's a heavy kind of burdensome thing on myself. But that doesn't mean that I have to try to talk in esoteric terms when I'm talking, maybe doing a bank transaction or whatever. I don't have to speak in any kind of generalized terms like that, but it's just that internally in my mind, I'm generalizing everything that I perceive as one thing that's meant for healing.
Okay. So then the meaning of everything is, so the meaning of it all is to heal? It's
completely meaningless. It has no meaning. But the purpose of it is for healing, but it actually doesn't have any meaning we give to it. We just assign to it.
Right. And so that's why when people ask me, when I try to break it apart in my mind, it's so hard because you want to give meaning to everything. I feel it in my heart that my heart wants to give it meaning. So it has, but then again, I feel like then I put a weight on it. I weigh the meaning and therefore now I've created separation.
Yes. So then you see how you could play in the field when, you're apparently giving meaning to things like, oh, my favorite food is sushi. It's the best ever, and then you don't have that attachment to it. Like, oh my God, what if I don't have enough money to buy sushi? It's expensive or whatever. It's just like, you could just play with all the meanings that you've given to different things without taking them as heavy. And look, whenever we make something, we make something out to mean that it's harmful to us, we're making it heavy. So, that's why I share with people a lot. No one is doing anything to you. It's so important that you know, and I know you hear that from Carter and those guys too. That's important that you know that you're doing it all, and no matter what the perception is, that's what's going to open the way for creativity and spontaneity, you know, so you can play in an effective and healing way.
Thank you. Thank you. We only have 6 minutes left. So does anyone else want to ask a question? All the questions are amazing. Thank you for that, for all of that. Who else would like to add a question? And then we're going to introduce our next guest for next month. But anyone else?
I'll ask a question.
Please do.
Hey, hi, Hope.
Angela, yay.
Hey. So yeah, I followed your work for a while. I actually have a question about your bio. You said that you like playing with fairies in the garden or hanging out with the fairies in the garden. And I'm wondering how that plays into this whole perception thing, like how fairies and aliens and all those radical things play in for you.
We make them all. Yeah, we just make them all up. And when I'm in the garden around the plants, that's where I associate fairies, is around plants. And when I'm in the garden and I'm playing around the plants, I get like this sense of a fairy energy, almost sensing like little fairies flying all around me. And, you know, I play with essential oils too, which is plant medicine. And I get the sense that the essential oils, the little molecules are like little fairies whispering to you. And, you know, it's just all fun because it's all me. And the fairies to me are no different than another person that arises in my perception, whether it be you or my kids or something like that. It's just, it's in my perception, but it's all one. It's all me. So it's all love and it's for fun.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Angela. It's nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Anyone?
So I think at this point that we're running low on time. So Hope, do you want to have any closing remarks?
Thank you. I love you. This went by so fast. It was just so much fun. Thanks so much, everyone, for your questions. And thank you for joining. You can get my book on Amazon, or you can also order it at hopejohnson.org. And that way you can order an autographed copy if you like.
Perfect. And we're going to show now your contact page so that everyone could take a screenshot and see the beautiful, all of this beautiful.
Wow, we look good. Dang.
There you go. It's wonderful. And yes, so there we are. There's your website, your YouTube video, and social media, right? Yes. And Sharon, you want to talk about your book as well?
Sure. So my book is Light Wisdom, also available on Amazon. It's Awakening to Your True Self. And if you would like to reach out to me, you can send me an email at Sharon, SharonTheLite @yahoo.com.
Beautiful. And I have a children's book. It's really for parents to help children be creative or remember their creative spark as well as their own. It's called Jackie and Creativity Go to School. It is for 3 to 8-year-olds, and it's also on Amazon. And we are very happy to make that available to everybody. So you can also go to valueyou.com, where I have my 21-day meditations with Hebrew chanting and life lessons. So we're so happy that we can share. And
can I give my phone number too? Because I'm on Telegram and I started an Awakening with Hope group on Telegram. So if people are on Telegram, they can put my phone number in.
Terrific.
It's 808-937-8440. So find me on Telegram. Just let me know you want to be on that group and I'll add you to it.
Fantastic.
Yay.
Well, I have the privilege of announcing or introducing Makara, who is going to be on next month. We are the first Thursday of the month. Makara Amara. His soul journey changed drastically when he was orphaned at the age of 2, and he began to walk the journey through life in the absence of a loving family. At the age of 12, he returned home to be with his mother, who, having experienced a miraculous healing, finally was released from many years of hospitalization. At 13 years of age, he experienced contact with an extraterrestrial craft that appeared 100 feet over his head, began receiving telepathic communication from its occupants saying, "Remember, you made us promise to come and awaken you now, so you can walk with conscious awareness and help your brothers and sisters on earth to remember what unique part of creator and creation they are." So he attended an advanced parapsychology center for 12 years called Mesa at the age of 21, and he continued growing in awareness. So he's going to be on our show. That's June 3rd, is that right?
June
Yes.
3rd.
Yes, yes.
First Thursday of the month.
Yes. I guess we're going to end with a blessing, and then we're going to ask all of you to unmute and say hello and speak briefly and say hello and goodbye. But at this point, we'll end with a blessing. Sharon, would you like to start, or would you like me to start?
Yeah, I could start. So in this moment, in this time frame, as we have welcomed everyone into this space, that we are sharing wisdom, light, peace, truth, and joy, and awesomeness that we've all gathered today, and being able to express ourselves in good and loving ways, that we can continue to emanate this loving kindness out into the world and have a peacefulness in our lives moving forward, having that about us, that we're able to speak with joy, speak with honesty, speak with truth, and have all things happened with goodness and wholeness, are always in every which way, because we are divine, we are of our divineness, and we just are expressing that here and now. So thank you to all. And thank you to Hope Johnson for this wonderful talk, this wonderful wisdom and guidance that have helped our listeners and helped all those around the world, whoever's listening at any given time and space. So thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. And I'd like to end with what we call the priestly benediction, which really says, God protect us, shield us, the God within us. May God share his countenance upon us, which knowing that we are as God, shine that light. And may God, all of one of us, be of peace. And it's chanted in Hebrew. So I will chant that for you. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha. Shalom. May God bless us and keep us as we keep ourselves in that place of love, compassion, and peace. Amen. Thank you.
Amen.
Please, everyone, unmute yourselves and say hello and goodbye.
Thank you,
Hello.
Hope
Bye.
Namaste.
and Linda.
Thank you,
Thank you
Linda.
all.
Gorgeous, Linda.
Thank
We
you for
need an
hearing. Thank
MP3
you.
of that. That's fabulous.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Hope. Thank you, Hope. Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you for
Seeing
Thank you.
everybody.
May all be free, healthy, and well. Find ultimate peace and happiness.
Absolutely.
Yay.
Let's
Aloha,
keep
everyone.
doing it.
Aloha, John. Aloha, Sharon.
Let's continue. Okay, thank you so much.
Aloha. Hope.
Aloha, Barb. Barbara.
And thank you for everything. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
you.
It's a blessing to know you all.
Oh, blessing.
Aloha.
And
Bye.
to you.
Love.
Love you.
Aloha.
Love you.
Aloha.
Aloha. Mwah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
What a beautiful place, beautiful people.
Mm.
See you next time. Have a good month.
Thank you, Marilyn. You too.
Blessings to all.
Blessings, John. Great seeing you.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Aloha.
Aloha.
We'll listen to it later.
Oh, great. Hi, Casey. Hi, Bill.
Aloha.
Aloha. Blessings.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Bye.